bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right, don't worry, I'm here. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. All right. Today's Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. 309 days into the new year, only 57 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? I mean, right now, how you doing? Incredible 24 hours. And we knew this was going to happen. Tonight is our election night, the day after. The day after with Jason Quitt. That's right, Jason Quitt's going to be with us at the top of the hour. And, yeah. What does Jason Quitt think about what is going on right now? Yep. Jason Quitt's going to be here, so get ready for that, kiddies. Oh man, tomorrow night. I know I'm jovial for a lot of different reasons. None of them have to do with the election. That I'll be talking about in a second. I'm jovial about this. My new Tesla lighter. And this thing, it's a Tesla coil, right? Check it out. Can you see this? You see that? Can you see that on the camera? See that thing light up? You see that? How cool is that? Tesla coil. So the big Tesla coil's coming in. And as I was looking at Tesla coils, I saw that I got to have one of those. This thing was like $15. And it works. And I've been playing with it all day. So check it out. Burning incense in here. But check out this Tesla coil. Okay, this is incense. Here's the Tesla coil. Watch this. That's about as cool as it gets. It zaps bugs too. But wow. Okay. So anyway, I've been playing with my Tesla coil all day. How is everybody doing? Let me put this back over here in my King Tut incense burner. Crazy 24 hours. Crazy 24 hours. Tomorrow night is Fader Night, open lines all night long. I'll get to all of that in just a bit. Lots to talk about. Election night special event the day after tonight. And I'm going to discuss everything here in just a minute. So let's just cut through everything that I just want to cut through now. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's the first thing. Follow me on Twitter. Twitter is up right here. And Twitter has been on fire all day. I have been monitoring all of the news, Twitter, social media all day long. It's insane out there. And I get it. So follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B, which is right here, is the sandbox. Hashtag F2BQ is Fade to Black Questions, which is here. We have 2 chat rooms open. One over here at KGRA. There's Catalina. There's Corolla. How you guys doing? There's more there. That's all that's on my screen right now. Hello to everybody over there. YouTube, Facebook, the Bunker Cam, everybody that's out there. Of course, KGRA, TalkStream Live, and Spreaker, TuneIn, everywhere that we send feeds out. Hello to everybody. Wow, what a crazy, crazy, crazy run it has been this last 24 hours. You can email me, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. I'm going to get straight to the breaking news. Yesterday, voters in New Jersey. Now, I want you to listen to everything, all of the breaking news. Yesterday, voters in New Jersey, Arizona, Montana, and South Dakota approved ballot measures that would legalize recreational marijuana. Mississippi approved the use of medical marijuana for people with debilitating conditions. Nationwide, 15 states, 2 territories, and Washington, D.C. have legalized marijuana for recreational use, while 34 states and 2 more territories allow medical marijuana. And here's the breaking news. Oregon became the first state to decriminalize hard drugs like heroin, cocaine, and meth in a 59 to 41% vote, saying that only small amounts of drugs are decriminalized, such as less than 1 gram of heroin, heron, or MDMA, X, 2 grams of cocaine or methamphetamine. Legalized. I cannot, that's crazy town to me. 12 grams of psilocybin mushrooms. Legalized. And or, you ready? 40 doses of LSD, oxycodone, or methadone. I that's all I got. That's all I got. Now I want to, when you think about the amount, especially under federal law, the amount of people that were, got life in prison for 40 doses of LSD. Think about that. And it's now legalized in Oregon. I don't know about this meth thing. I don't know about the heron thing. That's cocaine. I didn't know. Is cocaine still, people do that? Oh, man. I haven't. I got other stuff to talk about. But, I mean, do you go to the club now and somebody comes up and says, hey, you want to do a little tootski? You want to do a little blow? Does that still go on? I guess it does. All right. Sweden's largest insurer, Folksam, has revealed yesterday that it accidentally leaked sensitive private data from 1 million of its customers to some of the world's biggest tech companies. Folksam confirmed that its information has been handed to digital partners, including Facebook, Google, Microsoft, LinkedIn, and Adobe. Leaking of Folksam's data, including customers' social security numbers, has been going on as far back as 2005, and the majority of it was shared after 2015. Absolutely incredible. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today. Matthew McConaughey is 51. Illuminati frontman Puff Daddy Diddy is 51 years old today. Ralph Macchio, Karate Kid, 59. And one of my favorites, Night Ranger guitar god, Jeff Watson, today is 64. He started that 10-finger tapping. Well, 8. I don't think he used his thumbs. Might have used his thumbs. They called it 10-finger. It was actually 8. You remember that? Remember that? Don't tell me you love me. You remember that? Right? You remember that? That's Jeff Watson. Dude was amazing. Is amazing. Still playing. Our dead guy's birthday today is, I need a moment of silence, please, seriously, for James Honeyman Scott. 1956 to 1982, died at the age of 25. With the Pretenders, James created one of the most original guitar styles in the history of music. It's no joke. No matter what kind of music you were into, didn't matter. All guitar players wanted to be James Honeyman Scott. On June 12th, 1982, 2 days after the dismissal of Pete Farndon from the Pretenders, bass player, James was found dead in a girlfriend's apartment of heart failure caused by cocaine intolerance. You hear that, Oregon? All right. On this day in history, OTD, 1922, it went down. Howard Carter and his workmen discover a step leading to the tomb of King Tut, right there in the Valley of the Kings in Egypt. A fader fact. All right. Discuss this today with Renee, because Renee sent me a really cool fader fact. I said, I'm leaning. I like what you're doing. I like where you're going, Renee. I do. I like where you're going, but I got something better. That's right. In 2018, Missouri hunter David Berry Jr. was found guilty of deer poaching and sentenced to a year in prison. He was ordered to watch Bambi at least once a month during that year. Should have been every day. Should have been. Is that Baby Yoda? Yes, it is. That is a Baby Yoda right next to my baby unicorn skeleton talking thing. That's right. That's a good eye. That's a good eye. Here, let me clear it out so you got the Baby Yoda. Are you guys watching Mandalorian? Did you guys see episode 1? Yeah. How about The Queen's Gambit? Have you guys peeped that out? It's really good. Really good. All right. Tonight is our election night, the day after special. We're going to have Jason Quitt join us at the top of the hour. And tomorrow night is another fader night with open lines all night long. Of course, you know what the call-in number is. We'll deal with that tomorrow. Maybe I'll take some phone calls tonight. I talked to Jason about that. I want to kind of cop the mood of everybody out there and see where everybody is. RivermoonCoffee.com. Man, it's the best coffee in the world. RivermoonCoffee.com. Fade to Black Blend. Go. Do it. The links are at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Go now. Take care of it. And is that McConaughey in Interstellar? Man, that's such a good movie. I watch. Before I get started here, I watch Interstellar probably every couple of months. I just. There's a few. Arrival I watch all the time. Contact, Jodie Foster. And then this week, I found on Turner Classic Movies, which is part of HBO Max now, the remastered new version of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Last month, I watched 2001. I watch it all the time. I watch it once a month. But I just watched it, right? And then I got the remastered version. Oh, man. Crystal clear. The colors, the sound, vibrant, stable, too. Just stabilized. You watch these old versions, and I've got it on DVD. It's just the new version that is on TCM. Yeah, it's worth checking out. All right, where am I at? All right. Well, here we are. The day after election night in America. And yes, we all expected today to be eventful. That's right. That's why we did the day after show today. But we thought that, especially if you listen to the media or follow the drama on the social side, that it was going to be about widespread unrest in the streets of the country today. Well, that didn't happen. I thought that's what the show was going to be about tonight. Last night, as I signed off of the show, I had said that there was virtually no way for Joe Biden to make it to 270. And at that time, it was true. And I'm looking at everybody's info here, and I'm following it along with everybody else. And at 10 p.m. last night when I signed off, I was like, well, there you go. There's your answer. Trump got reelected. So got some food, went home, crawled into bed, turned off the election, didn't watch. I ended up watching a movie last night called G-U-F-O-R-C, Goof Fork and the Aliens. And if you haven't seen that movie yet, check it out. It's 2020 release. Pretty good. Saw it last night. Pretty funny. Pretty cool flick. But anyway, so I watched that and went to bed. Closed up the bunker, and pretty much I was relieved that the election appeared to be over. And we could now put everything behind us and start to move forward. That was the relief that I felt last night. I mean, the questions are answered, right? The questions are answered. The election is over. We can just move on. And I felt this sense of relief. Last night when I left the studio, there was no talk about voting fraud. There was no craziness in the streets. There were no riots breaking out. And remember, at 10 o'clock last night, Trump had it. Trump was reelected. And then I woke up today, along with all of you. I think that we were all prepared for an extended election. Okay, I thought the warning signs for that were painted on the wall. And that results were going to take a few days or maybe a week, right? Okay. But last night, things went fairly smoothly. I think we all saw that. The results were coming in. And states were called. No craziness, right? No voter fraud. Nothing. It was actually just a normal election. And that includes what's going on today, but more on that in just a bit. And this is totally stating the obvious. Right now, the votes are still being counted. Nothing is in stone. And sure, Joe Biden is in a great position. But as of right now, there are still about 450,000 votes to be counted in Arizona, a state that several outlets had called yesterday for Biden. And yes, we still have Nevada. We've got Pennsylvania. We've got North Carolina. We've got Georgia currently still in play. So we wait. Now, throughout the day today, Georgia has shrunk from a 370,000 Trump lead down to below 40,000 votes throughout the day. Nobody really considered Georgia to be this close. With about 150,000 mail-in ballots still to be counted, and there is a very real possibility that Joe Biden may carry the peach state. I'm blown away by this. Pennsylvania has gone from a 600,000 Trump lead to under 200,000 before showtime. with about 88, 89% of the vote count in. And again, it's the same situation. Although Trump has held on to a huge lead, the votes that are being counted right now are all mail-in ballots that are leaning Biden's way. Remember, everything that went in yesterday, automatically, those are votes that are being done that day. Those are electronic, and you get those in, right? And some states counted the mail-in ballots. Some had more, some had less. They did that in advance, whatever. And every state is different, and I get that, and I understand that, right? But Pennsylvania did things a little bit different. Nevada did things a little bit different. Arizona did things a little bit different, and so did Georgia and North Carolina, apparently, too, as well. And so here we are. Here we are. It's crazy. Here is the good news. We don't have to do another show about politics after tonight for 4 more years. This Monday, we are back to our normal programming, and quite honestly, I'm looking forward to moving on. I got to get me some Egypt and some UFOs back on the show, and we're going to do that straight away starting Monday. But here is the craziest part. The most craziest part of the very insane 24 hours in the United States, and that is last night, half the country, came to terms with apparently losing the election. Traumatic. Half were the winners, and they were happy. Today, those roles were completely reversed. It's like I feel so bad for the entire country. The sense of disappointment, the sense of joy, now the joy and the disappointment and the finger pointing and the anger and the happiness. It's the emotional tidal wave going back and forth. That is what we didn't expect. Didn't expect it. Man, be glad when this is over. The emotions are running deep right now. And the race to 270 continues, and there's nothing decided yet. For me, I just want to get this drama over with, no matter what happens. We have to start focusing on the things that matter right now. Too much time and energy has been spent on this election. It's been going on forever. The drama, the name-calling, the thing, the conspiracies, of this and that, but from both sides, it's been exhausting. And we've been dealing with everything else. Nothing got done this year. Nothing got done. Right now, we have a war going on in Armenia. It's not being covered by the media. Everybody's lost focus. We've got that going on. We need to deal with that as a world and as a country. We've got unemployment to deal with. We've got the pandemic to deal with. We have all of the international relations around the world that every bridge has been burnt. We've got our schools and our children. We have unrest in the cities in the U.S. and countries around the world. Everything is in flux. We have stuff that needs to be dealt with immediately, not later. You see, 2020 has dug a huge hole that somehow we've got to get out of it. And it's going to take a lot of work and time to do, not talk. Don't need that right now. It's time to get back to business. We have got everything to deal with. You know, and I think about not only the schools and the unemployment and the companies and the restaurants and the theaters and and musicians and things around the country, just all of that. Major focus needs to be the pandemic. It's just what happened with everything, with all of it. Just blows my mind. We don't have a choice. We've absolutely need to stop yapping and get working. That's it. Now, one of the things I hope that we're going to get the results of the election. Hopefully, maybe tonight we'll get a little bit closer to things. Certainly tomorrow with the rest of Arizona. Pretty sure Georgia says that they're going to be all in tonight. They've got another 29,000 votes that they're going to deal with tomorrow. They have to re-look at them that were rejected by the computer systems. So they're going to do all of those. And, of course, Nevada and Arizona. And we can get to that and then get to a result. What I don't want is 3 months of drama and courts and this and that when probably none of that is needed. There is a 3-month window of opportunity here to just stop, get stuff done, and feel like the country is the focused, right? That it's the people here that matter, and not an election, and not drama, and not conspiracy. That's me. That's my take. I need the relief, just like the rest of you. That's it. When I'm right, I'm right. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is our election night, the day after, right here on Fade to Black. At the top of the hour, Jason Quitt joining us live from Canada. Going to give us the world view. What's the world think? How do we move forward as a planet, citizens of the earth? Right? What do we do now? What can we do? We're going to discuss all of that. It's going to be great. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back. I've got more to talk about and some more updates right after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com. Go Beckley Teppy.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRARadio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, folks. It's troubling times, and fear is pushing emotions, which in turn pushes health the wrong direction. Do you ever get an ache because life is uneasy? Try Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. Life Change Tea works on your digestive tract, helping to move food through quicker and comfortably so your health is spot on. Life Change Tea may not help with world issues, but it will help with your digestive issues. A glass a day helps keep the intruders away. So, change your life today. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. If your health game is off, get on by ordering Life Change Tea. Getthetea.com. And while you're on our site, look around at the great non-GMO organic supplements. And if you're a sales shopper, go to our specials page and see what's for you. I've been drinking the tea for 12 years and I'm sure glad for its health benefits. Again, that's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. The tea that makes you go.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is our election night, the day after. The day after. He's back. That's what we're doing tonight. It's been a crazy 24 hours. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Hashtag F2BQ is Fade to Black questions. You can email me, Jimmy at JimmyChurchRadio.com. All of that is very simple. Get engaged. Everything is live and in front of me. And now, a couple of things that I want to talk about really quick is this. The first thing that I want to mention is I went back today. I wrote an article yesterday for The Telepath. I do that every week. And the links for that are up in Twitter. And you can go do that. If you're not following The Telepath, you should. Paranormal Radio and all of that. But it's in my feed. It's there. And somebody, one of the Fadernauts, can do a retweet really quick. But I went back and read it today. I wrote it yesterday at about 12 noon. 3 or 4 hours before the polls, the first poll started to roll in. And I just kind of set the tone for where I was mentally yesterday and emotionally preparing for election day and election night. But I encourage everybody to go and read those words. I wrote them at 12 noon. And the flavor of the column is this: is that with the election and everything else that is going on, and some of the other conspiracy theories that are going on, some weirdness out there and in the media, national media and social media, that the reports of UFOs have dropped off. Right, and we haven't had anything from Tucker Carlson and all of that. Well, anyway, that was the flavor of it. But the intro to the article was nearly word for word of what we went through in 24 hours. I had no idea, obviously. Nobody did. But go and read the article and understand that I wrote that at 12 noon yesterday. I went and reread it. I was like, wow, really? And here we are tonight. And I talked about, election night, what we were going to do yesterday on the air, that there were going to be no predictions and things like that. I don't want to, you need to go and read the article. But then I talked about election night the day after, this show that we were going to do today and what we could expect. Go and read the article. Even for me, I surprised myself in that I'm just, how do I say this? When I write, I am connected from brain to fingertips, and things are just flowing out, and I write really fast, and that article takes 5 minutes to write, 10 minutes, but I write with the freedom flow of thought, and I kind of I forgot what I wrote. I kind of go through it, I edit it, make sure that it's spell check and all of that. Boom, it's gone. I don't go back and reread my telepath each week, so there you go. Go and read the article. And then there's point number 2. And point number 2 is, last night at the end of the show, Eric, Awakening Man, called in, and he said that, Church, I'm paraphrasing here. He's like, man, I got to disagree with what you're saying here. You're calling Trump to win the election. And I said, hey, I'm just looking at the data. I'm just looking at the stuff in front of me. I don't see another path forward. And Eric, Awakening Man, said, not so fast. Not so fast. Votes got to be counted. There could be shenanigans. There could be all kinds. There's things in play here. But no, I am disagreeing with you. I said, well, Eric, that's fine. But you're wrong. and after I hung up with Eric and we wrapped the show, I kind of thought about what he had said, and it stuck with me. And this morning, when I woke up to all of the changes that went down overnight and continued throughout the day today, I thought about Eric's phone call. So I want to bring in right now Eric, Awakening Man. Eric, how you doing today?
I'm hanging in there. I was crawling around under my house painting my basement for 2.5 hours today. So I only had about 3 feet to work with. So I'm kind of burned out, but I'm here. I'm glad you allowed me the opportunity to share my further predictions on the shenanigans.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I'm glad that you were painting your basement. Kind of get your mind off of things a little bit. That's cool. I was playing with my Tesla coil all day. These things work really good as a personal taser too, as well. The next time I see you, you're gonna get you're gonna get tased. You're gonna get tased.
What do those run, by the way? Can I pick one of those up on Amazon, or how do you get that?
$15, man.
That's worth it.
Yeah, $15, and it says Tesla.
So I'm just curious. I'm not asking you to speak for Rita, but would you be permitted to paraphrase her general thoughts and feelings and opinions without crossing any boundaries? I'm really curious because Rita's been kind of ghosting us lately.
She's not ghosting. Rita is very, very active with the Armenian community and what is going on with the war that they are engaged in right now, and she is very, very busy from the crack of dawn until very late at night. So that's what's going on there. Oh, and you know what? Now that you mentioned that, I know that a lot of you out there have noticed that I haven't been saying Göbekli Tepe. And the reason for that is out of respect to everybody in Armenia and my family and Rita and my kids and everything, that Göbekli Tepe is in Turkey. And modern day Turkey. And Göbekli Tepe is a Turkish word. And what is going on with Turkey and their support of Azerbaijan is saying Göbekli Tepe, like I am right now, is offensive. So that's it. And that's really what was going on. And I know that the audience is a part of that and things, and it's been going on for 8 years and stuff. But until things change, I can't say it. And so I've just said it twice here tonight. That's as far as I'm going. But now you guys understand. All right. And that's what's going on there. But Rita is very, very busy with the Armenian community and getting the support done for the country of Armenia that isn't being done through the mainstream media or governments around the world. And so there you go. All right. So thank you for bringing that up. But let's get back to last night. You were pretty adamant in saying that it's not over until it's over. Why would you, when you look at all of the mainstream media, and that includes Fox, right? Everybody had this thing going one way, and I bring up Fox for a reason. But Trump was behind. Trump was behind with Fox, right? The numbers weren't there, but the path going forward, Biden had taken everything that he could at that point, California and Oregon and Washington and New Mexico and Colorado. There wasn't anything left to take, and I just didn't see a path forward. But you did. What was it that you saw?
Well, it wasn't so much the path forward. I mean, if things, okay, and let's just say I'm going to guess in past elections, it just seems to me that over the years that the shenanigans have increased, and I just anticipated that all the effort that the Democrats put in to try to win this election and all the things that are happening, I just sense that, and I can't accuse them of cheating because I don't know. I have no evidence. And I don't know if the Republicans are cheating also. Who knows? All I know is I just think that they would do anything to win. So I'm thinking that Biden is going to call victory either tomorrow or the next day. I think Nevada is going to go to Biden somehow, and that's going to give him the 270. And then Biden, whether he has permission or not, is going to declare that he's the new president. But I also predict that Trump's not going to just concede. I think he's going to drag this out for at least another few weeks, possibly longer, and then that's when the shenanigans are going to hit the fan, in my opinion.
Well, at what point we know the tenacity of President Trump, right? And he enjoys a good fight, and he will do everything that he can to make sure that the people that voted for him, that those votes are going to be counted, and he's just not going to go away without making sure that every last thing is in place here. But when you look at Georgia right now in real time is down to 30,000 votes. It's down to 30,000. He may lose Georgia overnight tonight, going into tomorrow. So he doesn't have that. And then Pennsylvania, and I would have never thought that I was going to say this, but right now, Joe Biden's at 3,040,000 votes. Trump is at 3,210,000 votes. Close that down from 600,000 to way under 200,000, getting close to 190, 180,000 votes right now, and only 89% are in. And I think that the concern for Donald Trump, I wouldn't want to be in the White House right now hanging out with him, because he knows that all of the votes are in. Everything that is being counted right now are all of the mail-in ballots, which apparently, as we're seeing everything get counted here, are 70, 80% Joe Biden.
Right.
So what
that's kind of interesting, though. Don't you find that interesting, though, Jimmy? I don't mean to cut you off, but this is where my shenanigans suspicions. I think this mail-in thing, I think that's an opportunity, whether it's Trump or Biden, I'm not going to say, but it's an opportunity for shenanigans to happen that's not so likely to happen if you walk in. With
Yeah,
a
but
Sharpie
here's
or a ballpoint pen.
Yeah, that's right. There's no question about that. But when you're in the middle of a pandemic, and people have been told over and over again at the state level, you know what? Everybody's going to get a mail-in ballot. You're wearing masks. There's a contagious thing going out there right now. The safest way to go is a mail-in ballot. And right now, if it turns out that more Democrats took the initiative to do this than Republicans, then so be it. But this is my opinion. Every state in the country did mail-in ballots. And you can't, in my opinion, and especially if you go to the Supreme Court, this is now turning, the federal government is not supposed to get involved with states at the state level and how every state does voting differently, right? And we've been doing it that way for 230, 40 years. And so if you're going to get the Supreme Court involved, which is fine, and he has the right to do it. I'm talking about President Trump. That's fine. But I think you need to do a recount in every state then. And you've got to go and canvass and recount and double check every mail-in ballot in the country. You can't just pick and choose. Right? Yeah, you can't say, oh, this state is, this is the one, I'm winning in this state, so we don't need to do that. But over here, I might lose this state, so you can't do it that way. And it doesn't feel right to me.
I think Trump is going to try to do it. He's already tried to put the 4 lawsuits out there, but I think then, and this is another crazy shenanigan prediction, I think then with Biden, I'm saying Biden's got the 270. Trump's going to say, hold on a second here. How can 110% of the registered voters vote when you can only have 100% vote? So we need to figure out what's going on here before I concede. And then during that time, like I said, there's going to be some shenanigans, and then I think at some point Trump will concede, and Biden will be our next president.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's who I'm for or who I'm against. I'm just stating what I believe is going to happen.
Right. It's going to be interesting. This is another thing, and look, if Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, right now, the leader of the United States, if he or his attorneys have evidence of something, they need to pursue that. That is there. If there is shenanigans going on, and they have evidence of it, then let's be direct. I want to know. I think that. Looking, and this is why I love this country so much, right? That all of this vote counting that is going on across this country, and I don't care if it's Texas, Montana, or California, it doesn't matter to me. That there are Republicans and Democrats in those voting offices that are working extremely hard. And they it's not a red or a blue thing. It's an election day thing, and they are doing their job. And you can't just say that, the state of Tennessee or Illinois or Michigan, everything there is just wrong, and not have anything specific. You just can't do that. You're blaming everybody statewide, and that's not cool. Now, if there's a specific crime or something that was said, just say it and get that investigated, because if there's shenanigans going down, we need to know. We need to know. There's just no question about that. If Georgia falls, if Pennsylvania falls, along with Arizona and Nevada, and suddenly you're looking at, I don't expect North Carolina. I don't expect Pennsylvania to fall either, or Georgia. It's just looking that way. But if it does, where it's not 270 anymore, and it's 309 or 320, it's some crazy number, then I'm not sure if there is a path forward for President Trump at that point. You're not, if you're going to do a recount in these states, you're not going to be turning over 200, 300, 400,000 votes. You might, I'm just guessing here. I don't know, but what are you going to do? Have find 10 votes somewhere here, or 20 or 200, but it's not going to be 200,000. You're not going to overturn the results in the state. That's just not going to happen. Now, a crime, that's a different situation. And if somebody did something and there's a specific individual or a group of individuals that were doing something, and they absolutely bring the hammer down. There's no excuse for that. And that is
okay. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward a few months. Let's have whatever 3, 4, 5 months, whatever. And you got Jason Quitt on, and you're doing another conspiracy show, and of course by that time we'll have all sorts of conspiracies to talk about this election.
Right.
But what do you think? Okay. So do you anticipate that COVID is going to go in a better direction for us as humanity? As like for Biden more so than it has for Trump, or do you think it'll go worse, or do you have a feeling on that?
Well, okay. Now, if you're asking me if there's a conspiracy tied to this, okay, look, just like anything else, I don't care if it's the bubonic plague, the Black Plague, right, or the Hong Kong flu or the Spanish flu. And how many plagues have gone through history that don't even have names, right? And viruses. Okay. They all cycle through. Otherwise, we'd have no animals. We'd have no humans, right? We wouldn't even be here. They all run through a cycle. Is it possible, and I think that it's highly probable that we're going to get through the winter months and finally COVID is going to run its cycle. Now, is it going to come back next year? Don't know. I find it very suspicious and weird and strange that there is no flu this year. Nobody's talking about the flu. How did the flu just disappear? That's bizarre. I can't figure that part out. There's like no flu numbers. Nobody's talking about it. Have you heard about flu shots this year? No. It's really weird to me. And is that the way viruses work? I have no idea. But it's pretty strange. So, but we deal with the flu every single year, and will coronavirus and COVID be something that we deal with on a yearly level? I don't know. Is it going to go, it's not going to, overtake humanity for the next 20 years until we dwindle down to nothing. It's not going to be that. Is it tied to Biden and Trump? No, it's not. I just think that it's going to run through its cycle. The other thing is this, though, Eric. Very strange that we don't hear about vaccines anymore. And was the election cycle that big that everything just got overpowered? And coronavirus, the news not talking, it's pretty strange. What's going on?
The vaccines are coming. I really believe that. And next year, sometime they're coming. That's gonna. I just pray to God that they make it your choice, like the flu shot is your choice.
Well, what do you think?
By law.
Well, let me ask you this before I head to the break. I've only got about 2 minutes left. No matter what happens with the election, right? We still have the next 3 months to get through winter. What do you think's going to happen with coronavirus? Is President Trump over the next 3 months, whether he's lame duck or still in office, is he going to focus on the country? Is he going to focus on coronavirus? Are we going to see real things happen in the next 3 months? What do you think ultimately is going to go down?
I think they're going to keep the pace of the information and the importance of the mask and everything is going to continue. And I think it's going to continue to the point where they really want to, and I don't know what the deal is with these vaccines. I just know that whatever the vaccine is, I'm not getting the vaccine. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Yeah, neither am I. Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Unless I have to travel internationally.
I just hope they don't tie it to something like, at some point down the road, if you don't have the vaccine, you can't travel out of the country, or some, eventually if they could create laws, to kind of make it harder on people that don't have the vaccine, and then that's going to be a real drag. Then that's when people are going to really start to freak out, in my opinion, if that happens.
Well, it may be a two-way street. Like maybe I need to fly to the UK, right? But the UK requires me to be vaccinated. Right. There may be that, and it's not the United States, but it also may be flipped around, where if you're going to fly internationally into the United States and you're coming from the UK or Italy or Spain or France or Russia or India, Brazil, right? They have these huge COVID numbers that you have to be vaccinated before you come into the United States. And so do we handle it that way? I don't know. And it depends if the vaccine is even effective, right?
Yeah.
We need to make sure that it even works.
One more quick question before you throw me into the pile. Okay, so one thing that I got, you follow sports a little bit, I'm sure. Doesn't it seem kind of strange to you that all the big name sports figures got the COVID, and then suddenly a week later, they're playing, or in 4 days later they're recovered, and now they're not positive, now they're negative, and they're back on the sidelines. I mean, that just seemed odd to me.
Now, why? President Trump.
I felt manipulated. I really felt manipulated by all that. I just think that there was some shenanigans.
Maybe not. But President Trump, he was good to go in a couple of days. Melania stayed sick. She talked about that. And so I think it kind of, obviously it depends on the individual and how your immune system is. But also, what kind of dose of COVID did you get? Right? Did you get dosed, or did you get microdosed?
Was it COVID, or was it the flu that people got and recovered in 4 days to 7 days, like you would normally with the flu? I mean, or is the COVID really as bad as we're being led to think? I mean,
you're still going to get tested for the specific virus, so they would know if it was flu or COVID. Yeah, I thought about that too as well. But yeah, there you go. Hey, listen, Eric, man, great phone call last night. Great phone call today. You called it last night. That was very impressive, and you stood your ground. All right. I'm going to give you my Kobe basketball. I told you that, right?
Right on, brother. Right on.
Okay. All right.
All right. Lakers gonna win it again next year. So we'll talk to you soon.
There you go. I'll talk to you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Eric, Awakening Man, right there. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's election night, the day after. That's right. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. At JChurchRadio. What do you think is going to go on? And let's see if we've got a different number change. Wow. 30,000 there. Pennsylvania. Wow. Yeah, man. It's a crazy night. I'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, my name is Billy Carson, and I am a best-selling author and the founder of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Together with my team, we have built an all-new conscious streaming TV platform designed with every family member in mind. If you have ever wanted to travel the world and attend lectures and workshops from your favorite speakers but weren't able to, look no further. forbiddenknowledge.tv. There are dozens of workshops and lectures from speakers you know and love. We have also included amazing categories to assure that your consciousness is entertained and elevating on a daily basis. Amazing interviews, ancient history, ascension knowledge, wisdom teachings, documentaries, conspiracies, mysteries, health and fitness, conscious cooking, meditations, finance, yoga, and so much more. To start your free trial on any mobile device or computer, surf to forbiddenknowledge.tv. That's Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4, forbiddenknowledge.tv. Again, visit forbiddenknowledge.tv today.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer. Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers. We are also the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is our election night, the day after. Special event. Joining us now is Jason Quitt. And before I get to Jason, a couple of updates. And the first one is in Georgia. And Joe Biden is actually closing in on Donald Trump. It's down to about a half of a percentage point at this point, down to around 30,000 votes. 98% of the ballots are in.
down to a half of a percentage point. And wow, it's a real possibility that Joe Biden could take Georgia, maybe during the show tonight. That's a game changer. The same thing is continuing up in Pennsylvania with about 89% of the votes in, and Biden's now got this down to around 180, 190,000 votes, and again, it's 89% in, and they're only counting mail-in ballots at this point. North Carolina, we're not going to expect anything tonight. Arizona, there will be another influx of mail-in votes that will be announced in about 55 minutes. They're saying at 9 o'clock Pacific time. And then Nevada's not going to happen until tomorrow. With that, Jason Quitt, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show again.
Yeah, and this is I'm going to ask you just straight away. There's a world view here that is going on, and I have been watching Jason. By the way, I've got Jason live on video. He's got me. So we can have this conversation like we're sitting here, like we normally do. But I've been watching the talking heads doing their reporting and giving their opinions on all of the networks. And it's getting a little bit repetitive, right? There's nothing really new to talk about. They're watching these numbers slowly close in. But I think that in a general sense, that the networks, which I am not depending on that, but everybody is kind of conceding, and that includes obviously, Fox. And I don't know what the mood is in the White House, but I'm wondering what the rest of the world is talking about. How is the Canadian media and the word on the street up there? I mean, it's very important what goes on here in the United States and our relationship with the Canadians and the rest of the world too. What's going on up there?
Well, I would say that Canadians, we watch more about politics in the United States than Canadian politics. So I know a lot of people, especially in my family and friends, who are glued to, the top media outlets, which is Fox, CNN, MSNBC. They're always watching what's going on with Trump, with COVID, with everything. And it's very strange to see the dynamic of what I witness on social media to what I witness in the real world with my friends and family. Where on social media, I would say about 98% of the people I follow and the people that follow me are pro-Trump. So I see for 4+ years, Trump, is going to win, and Trump is this and this, all positive. When I go to my family and friends that are not absorbed in the social media and they watch mainstream media, they're very negative towards President Trump. So when people are starting to hear that Biden is in the lead, they're very, very excited, and they don't see why he wouldn't be in the lead. So for them, this is completely normal. In their minds, for sure, Donald Trump would have been taken out of office, and they're looking forward to it, but they're also very afraid that he's going to win again. So it's like polar opposites of what I'm seeing from friends and family to what's going on social media.
Well, and I think that all of us were surprised about 2016, and most of that was because of the polls. And to have President Trump win the election in 2016, that was a shock. I think that was a shock for Trump. I don't even think Trump wanted to win. I didn't think he expected to win. But everybody was shocked. And so this time around, the media, again, and the polls were saying one thing, but I think all of us, we just expected Trump to get reelected. And the way that it was last night at 10 o'clock, I wasn't surprised. I don't think anybody was surprised. to see where it was. The shock is today, right? Where now we've got the reversal shock, right? and we had it 3 times now. We had it in 2016. We had it last night, and then we had it today. Emotionally, not only inside of the United States, but the world is going through the same reversals of emotion that we're going through here.
I personally believed without a shadow of a doubt that Trump would be reelected. That's what I thought last night going to sleep. And I was looking at the polls, and in my mind, it was extremely close. And I thought that it's going to be exactly like 2016 again. Biden might win the popular vote. Trump will win the Electoral College. And that's what I thought going to sleep. And when I woke up this morning and I checked the polls, Michigan was still red, right? It was still red. And I saw Nevada and I saw Arizona and Wisconsin was blue. And Wisconsin wasn't blue in 2016. So there are states that have flipped in 4 years. So when I looked at that this morning, I did the numbers and I said to myself, and I even posted it on Twitter, I said, if Biden holds Nevada and Wisconsin, and all he has to do is flip Michigan, and if he flips Michigan to blue, he will win the presidency. And very shortly after I posted that, they counted a large number of votes in Michigan, and it flipped. So that was very, once I saw that, I said, this is going to be a very different election, and a lot of people are going to be very upset when they wake up this morning.
Well, I'll just lay out my experience. This is how I went through it. After the show last night, we watched a movie and got some food and stuff, but I didn't follow the election after that. After that show, I was exhausted. And but in my mind's eye, how I resolved it was, okay, well, we've got President Trump for the next 4 years. He doesn't have to worry about another election in 4 years. So he doesn't have to deal with that drama. Maybe we'll just focus on the country over the next 4 years, and it's going to be good times, and we can just run through this, and we'll see what happens in 4 years and who's going to run. And is it going to be Pence? Is it going to be Ivanka, right, running for the Republican Party, whatever it is? And I didn't think that I don't know if Joe Biden's going to be around in 4 years, but I doubt that he would rerun again. So, but that's 4 years away, and that's how I resolved it in my mind, and I was comfortable. I was cool. Rita and I didn't have any drama to discuss. We just watched a movie and relaxed. When I woke up today, I get up a little bit later than you, but when I woke up today, Michigan and Wisconsin were already blue. And I thought I was imagining things, because that's not what I went to bed with. And when I woke up and saw that, I was like, now we're in a really, I almost didn't believe it. It just didn't make any sense to me. And I didn't know if he was going to hold, I'm talking about Joe Biden, if he was going to hold Michigan and Wisconsin all day, right? That it was going to flip. I was sure that President Trump was going to get reelected. And as the day unfolded today, I thought to myself, the rest of the country just went through the craziest roller coaster, because they did the same thing that I did last night. Trump, President Trump gets out and he announces that he's won the election. And by all, with everything that we had seen last night when he made his speech, who was going to argue with him, right? Well, half of the country was pretty happy. Half of the country was pretty sad, right? And then this morning, everything flipped. So emotionally, think about what the country went through. and bringing social media into play, right? Because now everybody's worlds that play out on social media did just that, where they now have to resolve all of this roller coaster that they went through in 24 hours. Were you seeing the same thing?
I was, and the word of today and tonight is shenanigans. So thank you, Eric.
Yeah,
Wake
right.
Man, for that.
Yeah, no doubt.
And you have to understand that this was a real shock to people, but there's a reason behind this. And many states like Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin, they were barred from counting the absentee ballots, the mail-in ballots. They had to wait until 7 a.m. on Tuesday to process nearly 2 million absentee votes in Wisconsin alone. And in Wisconsin, Democrats have a stronghold in Milwaukee. So they could only start counting it. So they didn't get those results till much later because there was a ton of work to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing that we're going to see, or that we saw in Michigan. It's the same thing we're going to see in Pennsylvania, that a bunch of votes are going to just pour in because they were not allowed to count them until Election Day started. And another very, very strange thing that happened early this morning is once those votes started to get counted, Trump immediately went on social media and he's basically suing those three places to stop counting the ballots, which I found extremely interesting that he would try to stop counting of ballots because, how much time do you think it's going to take people to count millions of votes in one day? So there needs to be time. And many of these states have said before that because we start count on Tuesday, it'll probably take us till Friday to figure out what the actual vote is.
Now, and I want to talk about the emotional drama and trauma that everybody's dealing with in the next break. But there is the other part about this, which I'm going to speak very direct. I would never want to be on the receiving end of a bad President Trump phone call, right? You don't want that phone call, and I don't know. I'm not in the Oval Office. I'm not in the White House, but I can only imagine that Donald Trump got on the phone and called the governors of these states where things weren't going his way, and he wanted answers, and I'm sure of that. And those governors, and when you look at, Arizona, McCain, right, a Republican state that has been flipped, that's not going to be a good phone call, right? No. And these issues that are going down in Georgia and Pennsylvania right now, those aren't good phone calls, right? What emotionally, where do you think President Trump is right now? And what about the governors where they have to, their gig is in place, right? They still have the responsibility of their states in play. And is it, are they feeling strange that, how do I say this? That they didn't convince their state or support President Trump enough?
What I would say is, I've been watching the whole presidency like most Canadians. And from my opinion, it looks like Trump has been battling in his presidency ever since the moment he was elected. So it's been scandal after scandal, and with the impeachment and just trying to get him out of office. The past 4 years have been tiresome, not just for the president and his political opponents and the governors and the Senate and the House. It's just been chaos, but the people observing this. So we've gone through 4 years of just drama, absolute drama, day in, day out. And I really believe a lot of people are just sick of it and just want a change just because of the onslaught that they're dealing with every single day, watching this president getting hit at every angle. And, Trump is no angel either. So he's come out and said some pretty amazing things that I don't think any president should post on social media. And we're watching this play out like a reality TV show. Many people are enjoying it, but these are real life people, real life politics that have world consequences. And I think that a lot of us emotionally are very, very tired of it. And to think that we can go through another 4 years of the world or the Democrats or people just attacking Trump day in and day out, that's a lot for America and the world to even take to watch that every day.
Now, what do you make of the reactions, or lack of, I should say, reactions in social media? Now, a lot of it that I have seen has been conspiracy based, right? Voter fraud, and of course, you expect this from the Democrats and things, and so I understand how the conspiracy side plays out on this. But what I haven't seen is the support. I haven't seen anything come out in support of Donald from his supporters. I'm talking about from Washington and from the state level, other state leaders, state actors and leaders around the world. Dead silence. And that I find very, very strange. It's you expect to have people in your corner at times like this, and right now he doesn't seem to have it. I don't see it.
No, it is quite shocking, and I think there's a realization coming out now that if the count continues the way it is, because it is actually not over yet. I know we're calling it, but it's not over yet.
No, I'm not calling it. No, yeah. I'm far from calling it. And you know what? And this, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I have to. In that the roller coaster that we went through last night to today, and to think that we couldn't have another surprise tomorrow. What if Nevada goes red? What if Arizona actually flips back after all of the media called it, right? Everybody but CNN has called Arizona for Biden. What if that flips tomorrow?
It's very possible. It's even more possible that Nevada can flip. I think there's only 8,000 votes between the two.
That's right.
Very slim. But what they're betting on is that it's a mostly Democratic state, and they're going to count the absentee ballots, which are going to be mostly Democrats. So they're already kind of betting that it's going to be Democrat. But anything could happen at this point. And like you said, it's only 6 electoral votes in Nevada. If Nevada does flip to red, Trump wins, and that's how easy it will be. So it isn't over. But what I find fascinating is Trump went on the attack early this morning to start, stopping the count, to start suing, to start asking for recounts in which he has the total right to do. It's in his law to do
absolutely
the recounts. But for him to go on the offensive so early before the real numbers have come through would tell me, that he's extremely worried, and he might have caught wind that he's losing a lot of ground in those states, and he's going on the offensive early. And if that's the case, then we can think that these new votes that are going to come through are going to be majority blue.
Yeah, and we're going to be headed towards a break right now. But the one thing that I was surprised about is, well, I was surprised and I wasn't surprised. But for him to come out last night and say, hey, we won, it's all good. Well, I was seeing the same numbers that he was. And anybody can feel pretty cocky at that moment. And I totally get that. But when he did that last night, I believe the numbers were still 230 something Biden, and President Trump was 200 or 198 or whatever the numbers were. But he wasn't at 267 right? Or, you call that, you get out there when you hit 270 because it's never over till it's over. And we certainly know that now. We're at 8:30 Pacific time the day after the election, and we still don't know what's going on. That was not the smart move last night on his part.
No, it kind of made me chuckle because, just watching it and looking at the numbers, I thought he is very overconfident, but, you can't argue with it because in my mind, he was going to win anyways.
Me too. No, yeah. I'm with you, and including what happened in 2016. Yes. And here we are today when we're looking at the Electoral College like we are, and we look at the popular vote where he's almost 4 million more votes in the popular vote than President Trump. And you look at the electoral map the way that it is right now, and these actually line up. This is very strange. And who knows? Who knows what's going to happen overnight again tonight? I'm going to tell you, before we head to the break, Georgia is still holding solid, 98% reporting, still about a half of a percentage points, 49.7 for President Trump and 49.1%. I'm looking at the numbers; it's actually a little higher for Joe Biden, and it's about 31,000 votes apart. Hasn't been updated in the last hour. Pennsylvania, 50.7 for President Trump and 48.1% for Joe Biden, 3.215 million for President Trump, 3.051 million for Joe Biden. He is just consistently making these gains, and it's only 89% reported. Just absolutely crazy. Let's take our break right here. Our guest tonight is Jason Quitt, live from Canada. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It is election night the day after. Now, when we come back, Jason grounds me. That's what we're going to do. Jason's going to ground all of us after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Telepath is a weekly digital newsletter filled with the latest paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the Telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free Telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
Including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is our election night, the day after special event. And live from Canada, Jason Quitt is with us. And Jason, I'm watching the breaking news that is going on right now. And that is, speaking of the emotional trauma that people are going through right now, there are protests going on outside of the Maricopa polling center where they're counting the votes right now. And last night, now remember, Arizona, Senator John McCain, American hero from the great state of Arizona, of course. And I love everything about Arizona. But last night, their guy won, right? He won. And now today, Arizona is apparently flipped, and they are protesting outside because they are dealing with this, and Arizona may be the reason, certainly a strong catalyst, that President Trump may not be reelected. I'm not saying that yet. The votes are still being counted, but the protests are going on right now outside. I'm watching the live feed.
And, social media isn't really helping, because if I go on social media right now, all I see is voter fraud, mail-in fraud, so a lot of people are getting riled up that, this is a stolen election. And I just want to say that there's been a number of people that have studied the mail-in ballots, who have studied fraud. And, you hear the stories of dead people voting in mail-in votes. And they took a poll, and what they did was, it's called ERIC, Electronic Registration Information Center. And out of 14.6 million votes that were cast, they only found 372 out of the 14.6 million that were double voting on behalf of a deceased person, which is 0.0025%. So even though it does exist, election fraud does exist, especially with mail-in ballots, it's an extremely low percentage. It's so low that no one really even looks at it or cares because it is so low. So for someone to go on social media, I think it is irresponsible to say that, they're winning an election for false mail-in votes, because the percentages are so low for fraud. And I don't know if you remember this, but for 2 months, and I've been watching Twitter, and I love watching Donald Trump on Twitter. For 2 months, he's been rallying his base, basically telling them, don't mail in votes. Get on your feet and go and vote in person. That's basically been his consistent message for 2 months. So if there's more Democrats voting this year with mail-in ballots, then if people are throwing these ballots out, wouldn't they be throwing out Democratic votes mostly? So I don't understand what is going on here and why they're saying this, because it just doesn't make sense.
Well, and there's another component to this. You can track your vote. Everything is barcoded. You can go and do it. My family has, and you can go and see if your vote has been counted. But and you can follow the path of your own mail-in ballot. But that is electronically registered across the board. And so going back to the registered voter, how they did it and everything else, and the confirmation and the signatures and the advanced technology today that is applied to all of this, if there's any irregularities, and that includes things that aren't postmarked right or the dates or what have you, everything is tabulated electronically and traceable. So I would think that anything irregular, if you're dealing with something that's going to swing an election, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of votes, right? Not 10, 20, 30, 40, or a couple of hundred.
Exactly. And I would think because of COVID and because of the situation of the world, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, there are people that are elderly, there are people that are immobile to get out of their homes to vote. They depend on the mail-in system. They depend on that, and that is where their vote counts. So I really hope that they don't stop counting these votes, because every vote matters, every voice matters.
Well, and look, right now, half of the country went one direction last night, half emotionally went the other. Today, the roles were reversed. Emotions swung 180 degrees in the other direction today. How can people cope with this?
Well, I think that we are too involved in politics. We watch everything, and even myself, I was glued to my phone yesterday, which I shouldn't have been. I was literally glued to my phone today. So we are watching this, is taking our life, and we're feeling it every second of it. And if it wasn't, here's a little secret. I meditate probably about 4 hours a day. It's a lot of time to meditate. And because of that, I disconnect from it completely, and I go into my own space, and the only thing in that space is me, myself, and I. And in that space, there's connection, there's groundedness, and I could breathe. And when I come back out of it and I go on the phone, my heart starts pounding again. So I would really tell people, yes, of course you need to know what's happening on the planet. Yes, of course you need to know what's going on in politics. But don't put your life so into it where it becomes your life and this is all that you're doing, all that you're thinking, all that you're fighting for, because you're going to lose yourself, you're going to lose the world around you, and you need to come back into focus. I know a lot of people, and it's quite sad, who have gone really into politics. And I'll just throw it out there. Like if one of my friends went like absolutely pro-Trump and the rest of my friends are Democrats, now they're not friends. That shouldn't happen at all. It's just politics. It's a difference of opinion, a difference of policies. You don't throw away a friendship, or you don't push away a family member because they have different ideologies than you. And we have to kind of come back and say, you know what, this is a personal matter, and I'm not going to share. I thought for sure Trump was going to win. It doesn't mean that I was pro-Trump, Mm-hmm. In fact, there's a lot of things I disagree with Trump, a lot of things that have changed over the Trump administration, which I hope get changed back, especially in environmental issues, because those have been really stripped down during the Trump administration. So I hope a lot of those things are reversed now if Biden takes the office. So it's not that I'm pro-Trump or pro-Biden, I'm pro this world, and whoever is going to help bring that world into a better place, then I'll be good with. And if that person makes a bad decision, I would definitely hold them accountable for it. I won't turn a blind eye to people just because they're the head of a party or have popularity.
Now, there's another, this is a sensitive issue. I'm going to steer clear of saying things directly because I don't want any of our social media to get censored, banned, removed, or pulled down. I don't want to do any of that. So I'm not going to say any letters of the alphabet. But I will say this. that there is a very large group of people out there that are not only involved in letters of the alphabet, but also other side conspiracies too as well. And whatever it is, the alliance and the cabal and the deep state and this and that and the military and President Trump and this, and we're fighting good against evil and the state actors and Hollywood. It's like the web of craziness that is out there. But there are huge numbers of people that have dedicated their lives to these conspiracies. And if President Trump is not reelected, then the very fabric of all of these conspiracy theories is removed, right? And now their life, their reality is in an altered state. What are they going to do? And they've already had a hard time probably communicating with their families or trying to talk about these different theories and what they believe in and employers and coworkers and everything else. Well, how do they? You know what I mean? And it's
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And it's like Morpheus, right? Yeah. Morpheus is offering you the red or the blue pill, and you choose to go ahead and take the red pill, and you're fully engaged in this, and then it just turns out to not be true, right?
It's very sad. It's very sad that these conspiracies, a lot of them which are true, and we cover them a lot on our show, Quitspiracy, I would say these conspiracies are weaponized for an agenda or a narrative. And it pulls on the heartstrings of real patriots, of real people that want a better country. Mm-hmm. And it sucks them in. So all these predictions, all these things are brought to the table and people buy into it, and they buy into it 100%. So even when they're shown reality and says, okay, this didn't happen, they're in a kind of echo chamber where they say, well, it's because they're too smart for this. And therefore, they won't give all the cards away and just trust us. We know what we're doing and they're smarter than us.
This was all part of the plan.
Yes.
Right.
Which is extremely dangerous, in my opinion, to continue on in that type of path. It's very, I don't want to use the word cultish, but it's very.
It's cultish. That's fine. You can say that.
Good. So, with all that said, like I said, on my Twitter page, I would say 98% of people follow that ideology of Trump being, president for the next 4 years, that they're going to take out the deep state and the cabal, and they have all these plans of mass arrests, and it just goes on and on and on and on about all these great things that Donald Trump is supposed to achieve during his presidency. And almost none of them have come to pass. And if he doesn't get elected now, it will really go against a lot of the belief systems, even though right now I'm looking at social media and there's already 100 different explanations on why this is good if Biden wins. And it's just kind of going with the flow. So I would just say, don't lose friends and family over ideologies like this. All right, because these type of things come and go, and it's very good to stay centered. There is no one person that is going to overtake and destroy the cabal or the deep state or whatever you want to call it. It's a group of people, and there's a lot of great people all the way through the police stations to the three letter agencies. There are a lot of good people in there that all they want to do is bring down what these people consider the bad guys, but they work in the system. So to disregard all that work and effort in law enforcement and just to say, we have to trust this one person, I think is very dangerous.
I had read a few different posts today that I was a bit taken aback by. One of them said, and this is where we are today when it's about conspiracy theory. I mean, it's all put out there, and people react to it, and it's very interesting to me. And one of them was Trump was always a pawn. He was never anything permanent. And I thought, wow. Okay, would they have said the same thing if he got reelected? I'm not saying that he's not getting reelected, but the view is in this community that he is not getting reelected, and that I read that and I thought, wait a minute now, you can't have it both ways, but that's what's being put out there. I read another post today. I don't want to get too specific here because I don't want to point fingers at this person, and I know this person personally, but it was the National Guard has been deployed in Texas and New Mexico and Nevada and Florida and California and Pennsylvania, Ohio, North Carolina, and Georgia. Long list of states, right? And that they have uncovered boxes and boxes and boxes of ballots for President Trump, and this has been now prepared for the national media, and they're going to make this announcement this afternoon. I'm reading this detailed, and I'm just thinking to myself, and this is somebody that's a professional in the media, and I'm reading, and I almost reached out and said, hey, look, man, you need to be professional and responsible with what you are putting out there. But then I read the responses, right? Oh, this is so great. I'm so happy that, well, all of these people are being set up for a pretty big disappointment. And I'm just surprised by this, Jason. I'm blown away. I mean,
it's becoming prevalent on social media.
Well, and it comes to a point where these things, you have to deliver on these statements that you're making. They have to come to pass, right? They actually have to happen. And if they don't, then how do I say this? The only defense to keep these people roped in is, the deep state won again. So we have to continue the fight. We have to do, that's the press release was suppressed, right? We can't release the Trump votes now. Whatever it is, there is always a counter argument laid out.
It keeps the conversation going like it's going to happen soon or tomorrow in a couple weeks, and just keep trusting, because we all have your best interest at heart, and this is going to happen. It really reminds me of the Nacera stuff that's been going on for, 2 decades now at least, that I remember. And I know a lot of people that get into that, they think, global reset economy, and they're going to be billionaires and trillionaires, and and I know people that have been pulled along for 5+ years before they see the light that nothing's happening. And it's kind of using the same psychology and putting it towards, light versus dark, and saying, the Republicans are the light and the Democrats are the dark. And when you polarize things like that, then you have an enemy. And all you want to do is, let's say, save the children, or make sure that these people that are the light succeed. So you're always trying, and that's how it catches a lot of these people. They're always, because they honestly have the most beautiful hearts, these people, and this is why they're so involved in these movements, is because they want these things to be true, to see that there is somebody winning and fighting the good fight always. But right now with social media, it's so widespread that people just make up complete fabrications just because it fits the narrative of what this group of people wants to believe. And because they can write it in a way that people believe, suddenly you have a huge audience at your disposal. And, for whatever their gain is, I don't know why they do it. It could be financial or just pure, they want that attention. But eventually it catches up to them. And eventually people will say, you've been predicting this for 20 years that, it's going to happen tomorrow. And it's been 20 years later and we're in a same spot or a worse spot. What's the deal? So people do come out of these things, but social media makes it very difficult because, like I said, even on my social media, it's all I see. If I go online and look at my feed, it's all those things, kind of like an echo chamber, agreeing that all these things are true, when if you look at it deeper, it falls apart. So there is this type of false narrative, false reality out there, and I don't quite understand why it's so prevalent now.
Well, but you bring up a great point, and that is most of the supporters of this have the best of intentions, right? They want a better world. They want a better place. They want safe children. They don't want the dark side to win, and they have a goal in place. And I get that, and I totally understand it. And I know so many of them personally. I hang out where we have a great time, but there's the other side of it that is confirmed by Facebook when you're or Twitter when you're pulling down channels, when you're censoring, when you're labeling tweets. The president of the United States has got his tweets labeled, and it's confirmation for these groups and these individuals that the narrative is being controlled by the man. And so social media and the media plays just as big a part in this as those that may be fabricating and creating some of these conspiracies.
Absolutely. And that's when I see friends of mine, when they get their channels taken down or their social media accounts deleted, I may not agree with their content, and I may think what they're spreading is dangerous because I can't prove it, but they shouldn't have done it because it's making them martyrs. So people see that, they got totally taken off social media. What they're saying must be true, and that's also dangerous. So you're absolutely right with that.
Yeah, and just like anything else, right? You want the BBC didn't like the Sex Pistols, so they banned them from BBC, right? You just made the Sex Pistols the most famous band in the United Kingdom. That's all you got to do, right? And it goes the same with whether it's David Icke or Laura Eisenhower was just removed from Facebook, and I don't know the reasons why behind that. But there you go. You just you made somebody. If that's what you're trying to do, let everybody just have their communication. If somebody's stepping out of bounds and they say something incorrect and they are violating a TOS in the terms of service, that's different. But you can't suppress an ideology or somebody's opinions. If they are if they're posting untruths or lying directly or attacking somebody personally in social media and it's outside of the terms of service, that's a different situation. But if somebody's just got opinions, you can't, I don't know about that, right? You're just confirming their opinions if you suppress it.
That's right. And I wrote something, I think it was last year or the year before, and I said the conspiracy theorist of the future will be trying to figure out what was deleted from the internet. because there's going to be history taken away. So in the future, we're going to try to look back and see what was taken away. And what if these conspiracy theorists see all these people that got deplatformed and then try to figure out what their conspiracies were? They can bring those back 30, 40 years later, as this was truth because it was censored. So there's also a future danger to this. But like we see with some movements, which I won't really name, some of these conspiracies are so, how do I say this, so good, so appealing to certain public people that it's spreading like wildfire around the planet, these ideas. And that in itself does cause danger. There are people that are extremists in anything. They're just bad people out there, and sometimes they just need an excuse to do violent acts. And having the right conspiracy could be their excuse to carry out a mass shooting or some type of violence. So sometimes there are people that want to protect this by censoring, but I don't think you can avoid it in this way.
Well, and stay right there, Jason. And speaking of that, when we come back, we're going to take some phone calls. So everybody get ready. But speaking of the internet and being anonymous and see all of that stuff, last year, websites shared over 100 trillion pieces of personal data. Your data. This is data taken on users of various websites, just like the one you are on right now listening to Fade to Black. Now, I don't like being spied on by advertisers. I don't like being spied on by anybody. I don't want anybody to know anything about me, which is why I use Virtual Shield. Tons of tech platforms right now. This is the good news. They have stopped all of their COVID-19 relief discounts, not Virtual Shield. Virtual Shield continues to offer its loyal customers right now a whopping 50% off of all of their plans for life. If you want to browse the internet anonymously and securely like I do, what you need to do is visit virtualshield.com/fade to black. Or click on the link in the description box below right now. The link is there. It's simple. And when you do, you will get Virtual Shield VPN free today. So go check it out. The links are right there below. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is our election night, the day after special event, with our guest, Jason Quitt. I'm going to take a quick break right here. And when we come back, we're going to take your phone calls. 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. I'll be right back after this short break.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Why is it we're not very good with our health regimen until it's too late? We don't put oil in the car until the engine blows up. When the body's out of balance, your health is not so good. Give your body some love. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Try our Life Change Tea, which cleanses you from harmful intruders. A clean colon is one of the ways to bring the body in balance. We also carry organic supplements to help you get where you need to go. So do your body a favor. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. You can even visit our sales page to save some dough. Does anybody call money dough anymore? Anyway, if you're looking for short, helpful health tips, go to YouTube and punch in Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. So, log on to GetTheT.com, shop, get balanced, then learn some cool tips at Health Matters Now. You'll be glad you did. That's GetTheT.com.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
Let's face it, you've always wanted to do a sky watch and see your first UFO. Today, it's easy. Just get your own HP-7 3B Cobalt Jimmy Church Edition night vision goggles from Hoffman's Optics. This is the same U.S. military system that I use, featuring a Generation 3 blue phosphor image tube. That's right, it's blue, not black and green. This is the only blue system in the world, and it's waterproof, lightweight, combat-proven, simple to use, and ready to go. Hoffman's Optics helped create night vision sky watches, and now you can see what everyone has been talking about each night from your own backyard. Just call 760-231-9929. That's 760-231-9929. You can click on the banners on our site or visit UFOnightvisiongoggles.com. That's UFOnightvisiongoggles.com. Go back, Lee Tepe.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRAradio.com.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer. Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com.
Telepath is a weekly digital newsletter filled with the latest paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the Telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free Telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, it's election night. The day after. All right, let me see if we've got any updates. Let's see. Let's go around. Let's take a look at Georgia. Georgia's still 98%. It's down to about 28,000 votes. Continuing in that direction. Pennsylvania, still about the same there. We're expecting an update of votes coming in from Arizona any minute. It's now 9 o'clock, and they made the announcement that it would happen right about now. I have no idea what's going to happen overnight. I did see one of the headlines that President Trump is going to ask for a recount in Georgia and a recount in Arizona and possibly Nevada, too, even though the votes aren't in. It's kind of hard to do a recount before things are finalized. But there you go, Jason. What do you think, before we get to the calls, what do you expect to happen overnight? Very hard to make a prediction, right? But what do you think you're going to wake up to tomorrow?
Well, right now, Georgia's pretty close. So I'm up in the air with Georgia. I think it's still going to be red for Trump. I also think North Carolina and Pennsylvania will be for Trump. And if that holds with the Nevada, which I think Nevada will hold, I think that Biden will take the presidency. And that's what I think at the moment. I don't think Georgia, North Carolina, or Pennsylvania will flip.
You don't think Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania? Yeah, I think North Carolina is going to be solid. Pennsylvania, it's a hard thing to overcome, but we're looking at, it's only 89% of the vote. I'm going to bring in a couple of more calls here. So everybody that's on hold, you're going to go on hold for a second, and I'll bring you back. I'm going to keep the order the same. Nobody freak out. And so let me do that, and we're going to get to calls in just a second. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Maricopa County and this announcement that is going to be coming in any minute now. So I'm going to keep everybody posted. I'm flipping through here to see if it has come in, but it hasn't come in yet. No, numbers are still the same. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Chris.
Hey, Chris, where are you calling from?
Well, I grew up in a little town in Ohio, Yellow Springs, Ohio. And now my wife and I live in Beaver Creek, Ohio. And so I guess I'm calling from both places tonight.
Yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough. And how are you doing emotionally? Say hi to Jason. He's right here.
Hey, yeah, Jason. Good to hear you. I love listening to you guys, and especially when you're on, Jason, especially about the conspiracies. Man, I am the funk about all that. So
thank you.
Yeah, one thing that I want to state is Jason brought up a good point. This is one of the first times that I can remember. I've been voting over 40 some years. And this is the first time I can remember where I'm not upset about anything. You know what I'm saying? And, whether I'm a strong Democrat, strong Republican, strong independent, because I voted all those ways. So this year it's really strange where I'm not bummed out if my party doesn't win. We just need to get on with our country. And the thing that really bothers me is where I hear a lot of these people, and I mean friends, close friends, and you probably are getting the same thing, about how, well, if you're voting this way, I don't want you talking to me. That really bums me out, to think that you can lose a friendship, it's just political. It's just political.
You're right about that, Chris, and I have seen the posts that are going on in Twitter and Facebook and in social media where they're like, you know what? If you don't like, I'm done with politics. That's it. I'm blocking, and it just removed me from your friends list. I'm just thinking to myself, these are friendships that are just being, thrown away.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, if we go back to not only the Revolutionary War, think about the Civil War and the divide. We had a civil war, right? Yeah. And eventually, over differences, and but everything that we went through in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, right? Crazy, but we managed to mend those fences and put country first, and that's ultimately what's got to happen, right, Chris?
You got it, man. And Jason, here's a conspiracy for you. I don't know if you thought of this, but my wife and I received 4 times a ballot to mail in, 4 times. And what is to say that the people who mailed in their ballots are able to go to the polls and still vote?
Yeah, a duplicate vote and vote twice?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean...
How are they...
I'll let Jason answer that, but I'll say that I think that's just difficult to do. It's difficult just to get registered, right? And everything, right? It's difficult, and then so once you're in the system, I don't know. I think it would be flagged immediately. I'm sure anything is possible. Jason, what do you think?
I think some people do take advantage of that, and if they get 4 ballots, they'll vote 4 times. It may get through, it may not get through, but I would say the percentage of that is still quite low if that would actually happen. And it obviously it has happened. So there has to be something in place where duplicate votes are taken out. And I think there was a study that I quoted earlier where they found that there was double voting in different states, but it was only 0.0025% of that mail-in vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I hope it's that way because you have to vote with your heart also. You know, you can't go up there and be, deceptive and everything like that. One vote, because then, you have to consciously, vote, not just vote to be deceptive.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And, I can only, and Chris, thank you for the phone call. Be safe and be well out there. And we'll see where we are at tomorrow when we all wake up. Thank you so much and be safe.
And
hey, thank you guys.
Yeah. And just to add to that, I love Americans and going to America. And from what I see is that most people are good-hearted people. There's a small percent that will go out and take advantage of different things. But, most people, when they receive, let's say, 4 ballots, they're going to throw the other 3 out. They wouldn't even think about that.
I can't. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I probably, if you went and sent in all 4 ballots, they're all barcoded. I don't know. I just don't see it happen. Let's stay on the phones. I'm going to get all these calls in. Jason's going to be with us until the bottom of the hour. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Jim from Fremont.
This is Tim. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I said, did you say Tim?
No, I said this is Jim from Fremont. I'm the Egyptian Sphinx guy. What's going on, man? The Alaska Egyptian Sphinx. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, I just want to touch on what the guy said about the ballots. I live in Alameda County. I'm actually in Fremont. I got my ballot. I turned my ballot in on Saturday, and they came back and said my signature didn't match. I voted for Trump, and I'm not going to get into politics about why, but they called me back. I signed up for ballot tracking, and they said, hey, your ballot didn't match those signatures of previous times. And I'm like, what the hell? What are they talking about? I've been signing my name forever. I was in the Army. I signed a bunch of documents anyway. So I called back, and the lady says, your signature looks perfectly fine. I don't know what the problem is. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm glad I signed up for ballot tracking because I would have had no idea that my ballot didn't get counted.
But it did get counted. Yeah, but it ended
well, that's
up.
what they said.
Right. See, and that's the other part about that. You're barcoded, you're checked. The signature analysis that goes down and it's automated. That's not 100%, and
here's a question for you though: do you think we should have voter ID? I mean, a lot of people will scream no, a lot of people scream yes, but I mean, in a time like this, I sure shit would wish you did have voter ID.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And Jason, what do you think about that voter ID?
Truthfully, I think it's a good idea. We do live in an electronic world, and just to simplify things, I think it would be a good idea, even though I know they say it's a slippery slope. But we're already doing that with every device that we have, so why not?
Yeah, I agree with that. And Jim, I'll say this. Our driver's license, in order to fly, that they right there, man. You know what I mean? They
all right, I got another spin on you. Do you think this vaccine has the capability of transforming your DNA? I know that you had Linda Moulton Howe on a while ago, and she was pro the vaccine, and the chat room was getting blown up like, what the hell, what's going on? I mean, there's a lot of controversy on this vaccine, and people are losing family and friends over a damn vaccine. What's your take on that? Do you think it's going to transform our DNA, and we're going to become these cyborg robots? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you see Utopia?
I did. Isn't that? It's kind of like that, right?
It is.
It's
It
kinda
is.
creepy.
Yeah. It freaked me out. I don't know. All I want with the vaccine, I'm going to throw this over to Jason. And Jim, I've got a bunch of other calls on hold, so we'll do this really quick.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, it's okay. I just want to have the right to say no. I'm worried about international travel. Jason, you do a lot of international travel. And what if there are travel restrictions in and out of other countries, including coming into the United States? Jason, I just want to have the right to say no unless I have to say yes. Jason, what do you think about that?
I am anti-vaccination, and I've thought about this for a long time. That my job is flying to different places, so if I would be forced to get it to continue my job, I would be forced to get it. Even though I'm anti-vax, I'd be forced to get it because I wouldn't want to give up my life in order for a vaccine. And I know that there could be potentially bad side effects, but we take risks every single day. So I wouldn't be happy about it, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't be happy about it.
Hey, Jim, thank you for the phone call. Be safe out there.
Wait, one more. I got one more thing.
It's got to be quick.
I got farther on the Alaska's Egyptian Sphinx than Linda Moulton Howe do. I think it's a true story, and that's all I got.
There you go, Jim. Thank you so much, man. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
We'll see you tomorrow night. There's another component to this. I'm going to make this really quick. I've got so many calls on hold. I remember when I had to move to Panama, and how many shots went into my arm for me to travel to Panama. And it was like no joke, man. I can't tell you what I was injected with, but I didn't put up a fight, or I wasn't going to Panama. It's really that simple. And it was malaria and whatever and this and that and these different things. But I had to take those shots to travel. It's really that simple sometimes, isn't it?
It is, and in my mind, if I get a shot, the first thing I'm going to do is go take a sauna, hopefully sweat out a lot of it, take some detox, maybe do a fast or something just to boost the immune system, up my herbs.
Yeah.
So I would try my best to rid my body of it, even though I know that could be impossible, but I'll still try.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Oh, Jimmy.
Inquire within. Say hi to Jason.
Oh, I'm here to call Jason out for all of his cheating on me he's been doing.
Ah, okay.
Wait. Can we censor this?
Yeah. We're going to censor this. Inquire, it's great to hear your voice, my friend. How are you doing emotionally with the last 24 hours?
Oh, man, it's been fun. I was trying to yesterday treat it like the Super Bowl or something, so I was just like putting down the beers, trying to just get myself all stoked, watching the numbers go up and down, but then there was, it hasn't been an outcome yet, so I've been just trying to keep my Super Bowl party going, and just seeing what happens,
Yeah, well, I think you are where I am at with this, and I had said this last night. It's just let the best person win, let the country vote. This is what this country is all about. We have certain freedoms and rights, and one of those is to vote. And we do this every 4 years with our president. And, really, that's it. Jason, do you kind of look at elections the same way? Where it's just you just want to have a good one, right? You don't want to have a blowout. You want to have a good one.
Exactly. And I even remember back when Obama got in and then his term, and we were always thinking, with the UFO community that he was going to be the disclosure president. Do you remember that?
I do.
So there was a lot of people, including myself back then, were really believing that he would release something before his presidency was over for the UFO community. And obviously that didn't happen either. And that's when I was really pulled into politics, when I thought, something was really going to happen. But now it's more of, like you said earlier, I just want the country to move forward. And if it doesn't matter what party it is, if a party will bring forth something that's positive for the people, I'll be for it. If a party does something that it takes something away from the people, I'm going to voice my opinion on it. It doesn't matter what party it is.
And I'm with Inquire Within. Sometimes you just need to drink. Inquire, behave and be well, man, and we'll see you tomorrow night on the show.
Oh, sounds good. Love you both.
Right back at you. Inquire with it. He came down last year to hang out with us here in Southern California. And we went to go see Hypocrisy and things, but I spent like 3 days hanging out, and I had the best time. And it's one of those things where I know, 5 or 10 years from now, we're going to be hanging out, and we will always have the bonding that we did here in Los Angeles. It was just so cool, and just hanging out with them. So with that, let's see. I'm going to go here next, and I think I took these calls out of order. I apologize, but let's go here. Come on. Hi, you're live on Faded Black. Who's calling?
Hey, how's it going? This is E Honda.
E Honda, how are you, man?
Good, man. Been a while.
What's going on? How you doing? How are you surviving the last 24 hours?
It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride, to be honest, but I have to say Joseph Stalin might have got it right. What's the quote that he said? Something about those who vote decide nothing, those who count the vote decide everything. And then you look at what happened in Michigan last night, right? So I do YouTube. I was on a podcast with another YouTuber last night. We were looking at what was going on. And Michigan was ahead something like 230,000 votes when we were like, fine, we're shutting it down, because they said that they were shutting down voting or counting votes for the night, right? And then a little bit of time goes by. They have some mysterious ship change. All the YouTubers and all the people covering the election end their streams and their stuff because nothing else is going on. And in a 1 minute change, Biden gets 135,000 votes. Trump gets 0. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, well, I mean, I saw the same conspiracy theories out there about that, and the memes. I'm not going to put a whole lot into that because of look, you have to picture something like this, and this is a very simple way to look at it. And we're at the bottom of the hour, E Honda, so I got to make this quick. But it could be something as simple as they are there, they're stacking up votes, getting ready to load into the machine, and they're sorting, and they're doing it manual, and they've got a pile of Trump votes, and they've got a pile of Biden votes, and they've sorted through them, they load it into the machine, and it gets scanned, and it gets thrown up on their website all at one time. What's the conspiracy there? And then a few minutes later, they load in the Trump votes, and suddenly you see a spike in Trump, or you don't. I don't know. I think I think if you are going to, and this is look, I saw all the memes. But if you are going to rig an election and you're going to pop in 100-some-odd-thousand votes all at once in front of the whole country and the world, you're a pretty stupid criminal.
Well, you might not be making a big deal about it, but Trump sure is. He's suing over the whole thing, and we're going to be talking about this well into December, I guarantee you.
Yeah, it's totally possible. Totally possible. But do you understand what I'm saying? Why?
No, I do.
You feed if you're going to be a smart criminal, do it smart. Don't do something where every single conspiracy theorist in the world is popping up memes the next day. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, and you have to also remember, E. Honda, do not forget this. Those votes that you're talking about, in that voting room, you have got Republican observers. You've got Democrat observers. You've got Republican and Democrat employees. Everybody is there. You have got the media there. You've got cameras. You've got things all observing what is going on. So I don't know.
Except for the particle board walls that they put up over the windows in the county area in that very state.
Well, you know what? Stay the path, man. If that is what you believe, then investigate and reveal. I don't know. If you're going to be a criminal, you do it a little bit more clandestine than that. So that's my take. I saw it today. Listen, E. Honda, I got to take a break and I got to say goodnight to Jason. But behave and be well, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Check me out on YouTube, eHonda720.
Yeah, you got to get the plug in. There you go. He got it in. Jason, thank you so much, man. And what a crazy day. And let's see what's happening tomorrow.
We don't know.
Behave, man.
Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you, Jason. Jason Quitt. And you can follow Jason on Twitter at Jason_Quitt. That's Quitt with 2 T's. Say goodnight, Jason.
Good night, everyone.
Jason Quitt, the best. I am your host, Jimmy Church. I'm going to continue taking your phone calls. I have some more updates. We'll do all of that right after the break. Stay with us.
Here, and you are listening to my boy Jimmy Church on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hello, my name is Billy Carson, and I am a best-selling author and the founder of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Together with my team, we have built an all-new conscious streaming TV platform designed with every family member in mind. If you have ever wanted to travel the world and attend lectures and workshops from your favorite speakers but weren't able to, look no further. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. There are dozens of workshops and lectures from speakers you know and love. We have also included amazing categories to assure that your consciousness is entertained and elevating on a daily basis. Amazing interviews, ancient history, ascension knowledge, wisdom teachings, documentaries, conspiracies, mysteries, health and fitness, conscious cooking, meditations, finance, yoga, and so much more. To start your free trial on any mobile device or computer, surf to forbiddenknowledge.tv. That's Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4, forbiddenknowledge.tv. Again, visit forbiddenknowledge.tv today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JamieChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. I want to thank Jason Quitt for coming in. Follow Jason on Twitter at Jason_Quitt with 2 T's. You're probably following him already, but you can go and do that, and he's a big social media guy. But great having him in here for perspective that comes from outside of this country and how the world is looking at this, not necessarily from inside of the country. We've all been paying attention to all of the talking heads and all of our friends and family and things on social media. But sometimes it's great to get another perspective, and I needed that. So thank you, Jason. And I've got the phone lines open, 747-228-2051. I'm going to get straight back to the calls here in just a second. And if you're on hold, stay right there. Let's see, a quick round table on the updates. Nothing out of Arizona yet. And everybody says the announcement is imminent, but it hasn't happened. Everything is the same, of course. Nothing out of Nevada, nothing out of North Carolina. And the same thing with Georgia, which is down to about 28,000 votes in between President Donald Trump and challenger Joe Biden. It's staying right there with 98% of the vote counted. And the same thing up in Pennsylvania, 89% reporting, but it's still holding solid with about, I'm seeing about 175,000 votes is the difference there. And I'm going to bring in a couple of more calls really quick while I am doing this. And let's see. Okay, let me do this really quick and tell this caller you are going to be put on hold. So just stay right there. Got it. Okay. And now let's swing back. This has got a lot of calls on hold. Okay. And I'm manning the phones. One segment left. And let's go back to the phones. Hi. Whoa. Turn me down in the background. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hello, Jimmy. Hi, it's Joe back again from Stown.
Hey, Joe. Really quick, how you doing tonight? How did you get through the last 24 hours?
About 3 hours sleep and a lot of coffee.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. What do you think is going to happen tomorrow?
Hey, suppose I ran an election and I declared victory, and before the votes were counted, I said, let's go to the court and stop the rest of the vote. That just don't sound right. Just has a bad taste in my stomach, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think that took everybody by surprise, too, as well. Too many people, everybody's vote. If it was submitted on time and you met the deadlines, then your vote should be counted. And that includes all of the troops overseas, all the people that have to vote internationally, and are dealing with the mail. And, of course, the United States Post Office had their delays and everything else and missing votes and things. Everything, if you voted on time, your vote deserves to be counted. So you're right. I agree with you, Joe. And let's see what tomorrow brings us. And I'll see you tomorrow night right here on Fade to Black.
You got it, brother. Hang in there.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Joe from Staten Island. And I mean, this is the thing. It's not just the mail-in votes that were done. You received a ballot in the mail and you sent it in. But there is everything that is going on internationally. All of the military families and troops that are overseas. The retirees that are voting from Costa Rica, right? Their votes deserve to be counted, period. You don't stop the vote counting. That was a pretty bold statement and one that I didn't understand. All right, let's see here. Who is up next? I'm just taking these calls in order. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. It's Deb.
Hi, Deb. How are you?
Doing pretty good, actually.
Oh, good. Good for you.
Yeah. So, after you left the air last night, I was going to stay on Twitter also. And what I was seeing was upsetting me. So I thought, you know what, there's nothing I can do about this tonight. I'm going to go pray/meditate, and I'm going to watch a movie and take my mind off of this. And in the morning, whenever I go to sleep, me, I'm a night owl. But when I woke up today, I saw what had happened. So there's what I see on the media, and then there's what I know from my own experience. And I want to touch on just a few states, okay?
Okay.
I turned in my ballot in person on Election Day at 6 in the morning. I already had it filled out, and I took it over to my district, which is right here at City Hall, and I turned it in person. And I asked them, will this be counted today, or will it be counted, after all the people who show up in person vote? And they said, well, we have to handle the crowds first, and then when those are counted, then we'll get to the drop-off of the mail-in ballots. I said, okay, great. So last night, when they called California for Biden at 55% of the vote had been counted, and they already painted the state blue.
Mm-hmm.
And so today, I tracked my vote, and it had not been counted yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, well, that's probably because, like she said, she'll get to those secondly. But I have a problem with them calling it at 55% when you see what's happening with these other states,
Mm-hmm.
because they also have a lot of mail-in and drop-off votes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's point number one. Second state I want to go to is Arizona. I have a cousin that lives there, and she and everyone she knows, and there's a lot of people because she's part of a church that is very right-wing, and a lot of these communities voted for Trump. And they also were part of a car rally that stretched out 96 miles, and they had videos of it all over YouTube, I think, last week.
Mm-hmm.
And it went for 96 miles in Arizona, and they were all Trump supporters. So when you see videos, and she's part of that video,
Mm-hmm.
of 96 miles of Trump supporters, and all in Arizona, and these large religious communities, and how they voted, and then you see the numbers coming this close. She also tracked her ballot. It has not been recorded yet either.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, state number 3, and I'll make this my final point. My cousin who lives here in California went to 2 Nevada rallies for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that there were just thousands of people. There are thousands and thousands, and everyone she talked to while she was there both times,
Mm-hmm.
they were so enthusiastic, and they said, oh, they're definitely the state's going for Trump,
Mm-hmm.
So she voted in person on Election Day. Her vote still has not been counted yet either, and that was in person.
Mm-hmm.
So those are 3 states, 3 different personal accounts.
Mm-hmm.
I personally know hundreds of people from the religious churches and communities that I know, from Orange County all the way to the Bay Area, all over to, states through Sacramento. I mean, including Sacramento, but, cities all over California that have huge religious conservative communities.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them are popping up and saying our votes are not being counted yet, and a lot of them voted in person. So I'm going by what I hear in person, what I've experienced, And then I look at the media, and it's really hard to believe that the numbers are this close. And I think it's right for him to challenge these numbers. And I just want a legitimate election as well. I want it to be fair. I don't want any fraud. And if there is fraud, I don't think it should, like Richard Dolan said, we should throw out that conspiracy word, because there's people who conspire to commit fraud. And that could very well be happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and I'm going to stop there.
yeah, and all of your points, and see, I understand everything that you're saying. You're emotionally invested. I have said this over the years, and so I can say it again. People can go back and check out the audio from years past and things, which is this. I have been a Republican since high school, and going back to Ronald Reagan. And back then, I didn't know the difference between a Republican and a Democrat. I just liked Ronald Reagan, looked up to the guy. And so as I grew up and became an adult, I never shifted off of that. But what I did do is I became more of, and this was a natural thing, I became more of an observer, where I kind of backed up and I looked at both parties and I looked at my friends and how they spoke. And, you know, I came out of Indiana, a Republican state. I come here to California, where Ronald Reagan is from. And this is what I have always found, no matter what. It's so interesting, is that we have shifted from Republican to Democrat to Republican to Democrat presidents throughout history and throughout my modern life. And if we go back to Clinton, or go back to Obama, and in between that you have Bush, and then and so forth, that there has always been in this country the ability to shift from one party to the other. And sometimes it just happens, no matter what. It's always been enthusiastic with one party or the other. And certainly we saw that in 2016, and we saw that today. But when we look at, and this is where, when we look at 2020 and all of the drama that the world and the United States went through with the economy and coronavirus and jobs and health and healthcare and schools and our children and everything else that is going on, just maybe when you look at the popular vote right now, which is 72 million to 68 million, and you look at the map, just maybe that's just the way it is playing out. When we talk about, this is the thing, and I've stated my case very clear here about how I have grown up and which party I have supported, is this: fraud goes both ways. You cannot say right now, if your party wins, there's no voter fraud. But if you lose, it's because of fraud. And if President Trump, or any president, Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. But if President Trump hit 270 yesterday, right? There's no voter fraud, is there? There's no lawsuits. There's no nothing. There's no law, and that's where me, as somebody that's plays the part of the observer, I just got to go, wait a minute here. Everything is fine until it didn't go somebody's way. And I'm not here to offend anybody. I'm just stating the obvious. And nobody wants to talk about that. Democrats aren't talking about that. Democrats are not talking about that. Republicans are not talking about that. But I will. Okay, it can't be any more simple than that. Waking up today, I signed off the show last night saying that President Trump is going to get reelected. There it is. Everybody have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Right?
So I don't see any other pathway that this could go. I remember verbatim.
That's it. That's it. Today, it was a different story. But that's what makes this country great. Every vote gets counted. You know, I didn't see another path forward last night, but hey, votes get counted. You know,
hopefully we'll be able to distinguish what constitutes a legal vote and what constitutes a fraudulent vote. Because if there's fraud, it does need to be found out. I'm not saying that there is.
No, you can't you can't use the word fraud unless you have evidence. You can't say, this state went one way, it's got to be fraud. Well, okay, then what are we talking about here? What is the evidence? Yeah, what is the evidence of fraud? You know?
Well, I mean, time will, tell if there was fraud. I'm not saying that there was.
Yeah,
he's challenging some of this, and if there was fraud, then hopefully they'll find out if there was. And if there was, then things need to change. I do think that Florida did this right. Hopefully we'll learn our lesson from Florida. They handled this whole thing brilliantly with their state, and they should be the model of how elections should be done from now on, especially if Corona continues or there's delayed voting or mail-in voting. They handled it correctly, and I don't know if you are familiar with what they did, but they were allowed to count votes early.
Well,
a couple weeks ago it started, so they didn't have this huge delay.
Yeah, and there are different states, when you look at Texas or Oklahoma or Kansas, Utah, and you go through, like Utah right now, that's red. That's only 78% in. Texas right now, which has been called for Donald Trump, only 85% in, and it's 5.8 to 5.1. Did they call it too early?
Still flip.
What?
I know.
See, so you can't say, well, California. So when you look at California, which is only 66% reporting right now, but the vote, it's impossible for it to flip because it's 8 million for Joe Biden, Donald Trump at 3.9 million, at 4 million. Donald Trump would have to, in this state, win every single vote. If it splits 50-50 from here out, the vote count stays the same. The ratio stays the same. So that's why a state like California is called at 66% because it's 8 million to 4 million votes.
I'm glad you told me that. They have not been showing the numbers for California. I've been having Fox on the whole time, and they have not once shown they show percentages, but they do not show the actual ballot counts. They've never once. So thank you. I didn't know that. Can I ask you another question real quick? Because what if, let's say last night, like you said, what if Trump hit 270 and he would have called and that was it? What if the rest of the states had come in, and even, I guess my question is, I want to be clear here. Is it a race to see who hits 270 first, and then whoever hits 270 first just wins? Because what if the other person has the rest of the states come in and they surpass 270? Then what happens?
You can't pass 270. Once you're at 270, there's not enough votes there. You can get to, I think the max is 267.
Okay.
Right? So, once you hit 270, that's it. That's it. It's over.
And we've avoided your nightmare scenario that you brought up last night that I was thinking of already. What if the Democrats take the Senate, and Trump takes the White House? Then you've got both houses against them, and we're going to have 4 more years of impeachment. That was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that.
I know you don't want to go down that road.
No, I don't want to go. The reason why
I don't either.
No,
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm just tired of the drama. And I was just like, man, I just don't want to go through this again. And
we don't have to go through that.
We just went through 8 or 10 months of pure hell. with the economy and the pandemic and everything else, and BLM and George Floyd, on and on and on. I mean, just crazy things that this country is dealing with right now. And I said this last night, and I mean it. We have, and I said it today, we have dug a hole that is so deep right now in this country, and the things that we have to overcome to get out of everything that is in play. We just need to get this election over with, and we need to focus on the citizens, the great people, the women, children, men, fathers, mothers, grandparents in this country right now. They need to come first. All the BS has just got to be put to the side. I'm just done with it. I'm done.
And let me reassure you something. If Biden does take this thing, nobody that I know that voted for Trump, and there are a lot of people, I know them, there's no way they're going to go protest with violence on the street and do anything like what we've seen in the last few months of what's happening. There's no way those people would do that because they stand against that kind of behavior. So if it were to go the way that I don't want to see it go, I'll be honest, but I will not be one of those people out there creating violence and fighting. And no, we need to bring our country together no matter what. Even if we don't like the outcome, we're never going to get unity if we don't, turn the other cheek, basically.
No, that's it. We're Americans first,
That's right.
And we have got a lot to overcome, and staying divided is not going to move us forward. It can't be said any more clear than that.
Divided we fall, Jimmy.
That's right. Deb, behave and be well. I'll see you tomorrow night.
You behave, Jimmy. Bye.
I'll try. Deb from Sacramento. That's a great phone call right there. And let's see. I got time for one more. Let's bring in one more call before the end of the night. The Fade to Black. This is our election night special event the day after. And let's see here. Do we have any updates? Let's see. Georgia. Whoa, we do have an update out of Georgia. Georgia is down to 25,000 votes. Again, 98% has been counted. It is officially now down to a half a point, 49.6. For Donald Trump, and Joe Biden is at 49.1%. So it's a half a percentage point, 25,000 votes apart in Georgia. And I'm wondering why I can't bring in any of these calls. Let's see here. While I'm waiting, let's try this one. Can't bring in calls. I got time for one more. Come on. Okay, I'll try this one more time, and we'll see if that happens. Okay, Pennsylvania. Nothing. No changes there. 89% reporting. Still 3.215 to 3.051. I can't really do the math on that, but it feels like 190,000. What is that? Something like that apart. North Carolina, no changes. Arizona, they've been announcing updates from Arizona all night, and still that hasn't come in. But, Georgia, 25,000 apart. And what's really strange about Georgia is 98%. That number has not changed. I don't know how many votes are outstanding, but it's about 2% left that need to be counted. I don't know what to expect tomorrow. I really don't. Tonight after the show, I'm going to get a little bit of work done. I'm going to shut this bunker down and go get some food and go watch a movie. And I'm not going to follow this. Yesterday, Jason brought up a really good point, and including today. Yesterday, I tallied numbers and followed everything all day long. all of the networks. I do not know, and I did the same thing today. I do not know how all of these media personalities that are on the networks have been doing this. Just all day, all night, looking at these numbers, repeating themselves over and over again. It's taxing. It's taxing, and I'm sure that they want this to wrap up as soon as possible, too, as well. But it wore me out. Today, I was just absolutely worn out. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close out these the phones, and if you're on hold and you just got hung up on, they're not picking up. I don't know what's going on, and I apologize. It happens. These calls, once they get up to 45 minutes like this, they just lock up and just stay there. So I apologize, but tomorrow night's Fader night, open lines all night long. I'm going to be very interested to hear what everybody has to say tomorrow, and you never know. We may see results tomorrow, and we may start to reach the end of the election. That may happen tomorrow. But where the phone calls are going to go tomorrow night. Are we going to talk about UFOs and time travel and the supernatural in Egypt? Are we going to do that? Music, guitars? Or are we going to do one more night? That's the beauty of Fade to Black and Fader Night. Unscripted, uncensored, unscreened. That's the way we do it. It's your night to communicate. And with all of the emotions that have been tried, and back and forth, and conspiracies, nuts, and happiness and sadness, back and forth and back and forth. I get all of that. I went through it. So is everybody else. I can only imagine, really quick. I want to get this in. I don't want to run over on the network. I think that all things being sensible and square, that the election actually went pretty smooth yesterday, and that I think for the rest of the world to see it, forget about the media and how they're commenting on it. I think it went pretty smooth, and I think that we showed everybody that with all the chaos that was going down in this election, that we actually pulled it off. Mail-in ballots and coronavirus and everything else, the madness that was going on. We showed the world that we can have an election. Okay, we expected stragglers out there, and I'm talking about states and vote counting. Okay, that was to be expected, and we knew that was coming. So hopefully tomorrow, supposedly by Friday, everybody is going to have their votes in and counted. Okay, so we will see everybody tomorrow night. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What a great show tonight, and I'm very happy to report that we won't be doing any more politics on this show for 4 more years. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2020 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll see everybody tomorrow night for Fader Night. By the way, the camera went down. It was down at the beginning of the show. It went down and didn't come back. That's what's going on there. I'll see everybody tomorrow night. Be safe.